Cancer, listen closely and do not scroll past. June 3rd and 4th are not ordinary days. This is a divine alert meant just for you. If you ignore this moment, a karmic trap awaits to delay your destiny by 10 whole years, all the way to 2033. Right now, pause whatever you're doing, because from this very second until these cosmic windows open, you have one shot to change everything. This is not ordinary advice. This is a divine alert from the spiritual realm. If you scroll past, you risk losing access to a decade of growth, joy, and true purpose. Are deeply versed in astrology and feng shui, and you're watching Buddhist teachings, where we share sacred wisdom to guide your soul. Before we dive deeper, please hit like, share, and subscribe so that we can bring you more transformative content. We begin with a highly personalized greeting to you, Cancer. Cancer, listen carefully and do not scroll. Right from the start, you feel as though this message is crafted just for you, not a generic warning for anyone. This exclusive call-out instantly grabs your attention and sparks curiosity. Why me? Why now? The anchor phrase June 3rd and 4th are not ordinary days appears twice, first here and again later. Its repetition sets a dramatic tone of urgency. Like an alarm bell ringing in your spirit, stop scrolling. Drop everything. There's something crucial at stake. Moreover, referring to it as a divine alert, rather than mere advice or news, elevates the entire message. It conjures imagery of prophecies, cosmic commands, and a sacred summons rather than casual content. Suddenly, you perceive an unseen force guiding you. This isn't idle entertainment, it's a spiritual reckoning. Without wasting a second, the speaker declares, if you skip this karmic chance, you will delay your destiny by 10 years, until 2033. The phrase 10 years is staggering. In one breath, you're confronted with the idea that missing this moment could rob you of an entire decade of alignment, breakthroughs, and fulfillment. You feel a pang of fear. What if I really lose that much time? The concept of a karmic trap instantly conjures an image of an invisible snare set by the universe itself, waiting to ensnare your progress. By combining divine alert with karmic trap, you sense a dual urgency, a sacred warning and a karmic reckoning. If you ignore it, karma will hold you back. If you heed it, you step into a path of spiritual evolution. Why are these days so special? Can I really risk delaying my destiny by a decade? I must pause and listen immediately. By addressing you as you directly, Cancer, this message is for you. The speaker establishes a bond, as if they are personally guiding you through a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You feel both protected and compelled to pay attention. Now, take a deep breath, Cancer. In the next segment, I will reveal the 3 karmic tests the cosmos has prepared for you on June 3rd and 4th. Each test carries the power to either propel you forward or hold you captive. Only you can choose which path to follow. Remember, this video is for those who dare to align with their true destiny. If you're ready, stay tuned, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Buddhist teachings for more soul-stirring insights. Cancer, prepare yourself. Your moment is now. 1. The Karmic Trap Unveiled, your spiritual pre-flight checklist for June 3rd to 4th. If you feel pulled in every direction right now, pay close attention. The concept of the karmic trap isn't just spiritual jargon. It's a pivotal gateway poised to either catapult you onto a higher timeline or lock you into a replay of this cosmic level until 2033. Imagine a portal in a best-selling American fantasy novel. Step through with clarity, and you ascend, falter, and that door slams shut for the next decade. Think of your soul as the protagonist in a video game. Unless you pass 3 critical tests, you're stuck grinding the same challenges until you master them. At its core, the karmic trap serves as a spiritual checkpoint, a moment when the universe throws 3 distinct trials your way. First is the distraction test, when noise and busyness conspire to derail your focus. Next comes the trust trap, an insidious temptation to follow seductive promises that may conceal a hidden cost. Finally, the energy drain test strips away vitality in subtle, everyday ways. Late-night messages demanding your attention, irresistible urges that pull you away from your higher purpose. If you can navigate all 3, you unlock a higher timeline, aligned with your deepest calling. Fail, and the karmic portal whistles closed, denying you access until mid-2033. But let's be clear, karmic trap is a term you'll hear floating around YouTube and TikTok. popular phrases often shared by creators in the spiritual self-help space. We're not quoting any one speaker verbatim, we're distilling a collective concept into meaningful guidance for you. Picture a pilot adhering to a pre-flight checklist. If every switch isn't flipped, the plane won't ascend. In many ways, this karmic moment is your soul's pre-flight, an urgent invitation to prepare. Have you drifted into that restless state lately? Sleep fragmented into images that vanish the second you wake? You might find yourself fidgeting in the morning, as though an unseen eye is watching every step. Maybe it happened after you left a cafe in the early hours, stepping into a sudden chill that made your spine tingle. These symptoms aren't mere coincidence. They are your spirit's warning signals, alerting you that the window on June 3rd to 4th is more than just a date on the calendar. It's a cosmic alarm clock. You are the main character in this unscripted inner report-style narrative. Your own heart is both newsroom and stage. Every shiver, every half-remembered dream echoes. Wake up, pay attention, this moment shapes your destiny. Don't expect these spiritual trials to announce themselves with trumpet blasts. They play out like a magician's sleight of hand. A perfect opportunity appears and vanishes, a text message beckons. Urgent, it claims, right when you should be resting. A surprising invitation promises connection but could lead you astray. This is the distraction test. You must discern whether that midnight ping is a genuine call to purpose or a trap, masquerading as chance. Think like an investigative reporter uncovering a hidden subtext. Every tempting email or too good to be true offer is part of a larger pattern, a cunning illusion designed to unmoor your focus. If you don't catch it, you'll walk right into the next phase of the karmic trap. Hear me, this process is not about divine retribution. It's about preparation, an essential pre-flight checklist for your spirit. Just as pilots run through every instrument and gauge before takeoff, you're invited to align your intentions and inner compass now. Take heart. Challenges are not punitive measures but invitations to grow. By embracing this opportunity, you willingly bolster your landing gear for the journey ahead. You're not a pawn, you're a co-creator. You'll soon receive specific guidance to navigate the distraction, trust, and energy drain tests. Consider this an editorial from a trusted spiritual co-pilot. Prepare now, for what follows could shape your trajectory for the next decade. Stop whatever you're doing. Yes, now. Silence those devices. Because what I'm about to share can determine whether your soul soars or stalls for 10 years. Picture an action movie's countdown. One wrong move, and the entire mission fails. Just as a character flips a crucial switch at the final second, you too must flip the switch of awareness on June 3rd to 4th. This is a call to press pause on life's chaos, inhale deeply, and tune in. The universe isn't waiting. If you allow these moments to slip by unnoticed, you might find that karmic portal sealed and the timeline you hoped for out of reach, until July 2033. Let me share a personal viewpoint. I once believed spiritual check-ins were abstract rituals, detached from daily life. Then, on a similar cosmic checkpoint, I was drawn into an impulse purchase that diverted my resources and clouded my clarity for months. It wasn't the wallet drain that stung. It was the realization that I had ignored a subtle nudge to pause and discern. I spent the next year replaying that cycle, caught in a loop of distraction and regret. Now, I see each test as a sacred threshold, a challenge wrapped in ordinary events, from the ding of a notification to the allure of a late-night agreement that seems innocuous at first. If you can spot these signs and pause before acting, you step into empowerment instead of entrapment. Remember, the karmic trap is not an enemy but a gatekeeper. It stands guard between where you are and where you could be. As you approach June 3rd to 4th, commit to being fully present. Listen for the whispers in your dreams. Notice when your heart skips a beat walking out of a darkened cafe. Question every offer that glitters with false promise. By doing so, you're not hiding from life. You're engaging with it at the highest level. This is both a warning and a sacred invitation. Honor this moment, and you can move into your next chapter with dignity and purpose. Let your curiosity fuel vigilance. Let your soul's longing drive discernment. The higher timeline awaits, but the clock is ticking. Stop. Listen. Breathe. Your journey begins now. 2. Test 1, the distraction challenge. When the universe draws a red circle on June 3rd to 4th. Picture this. On your calendar, June 3rd and 4th are no ordinary dates. In the grand tapestry of cosmic design, they are emblazoned with a figurative red halo, an urgent signal from the universe declaring, "Pay attention." Like a top-secret memorandum marked with scarlet ink in a CIA briefing room, this red circle denotes non-negotiable importance. Imagine a reporter on the scene, voice crisp and clear. On June 3rd to 4th, the cosmos has highlighted these dates, and all eyes must shift to what the unseen realms are now orchestrating. In that moment, you sense a collective hush fall over reality. Time itself seems to hold its breath. For those born under Cancer or simply attuned to spiritual currents, the red circle is more than a metaphor. It is a warning flare, urging you to look beyond routine and listen for the subtle signals guiding your destiny. Against that backdrop of cosmic red, the first challenge emerges, the distraction test. This is the most prevalent and insidious trial you will face. As a subheadline in a major exposé, it might read, "Distraction Test, the silent saboteur threatening your spiritual path." In plain terms, it's the barrage of meaningless busyness that drags you away from your inner compass. Picture a seasoned investigative journalist exposing a hidden epidemic, your precious attention scattered in 1,000 directions, leaving you vulnerable to missing the universe's subtle cues. For Cancer, whose sensitivity and empathy run deep, this test can feel like standing in a crowded room where every voice clamors for your focus. Social media push notifications, a relentless stream of emails, family drama demanding your emotional labor. These are the primary weapons in the distraction test arsenal. If you succumb, you drift farther from your soul's true calling. Let me tell you about Sarah, a classic Cancer archetype, gentle, caring, easily attuned to others' needs. Last month, Sarah planned a quiet weekend of reflection. Yet, by Saturday morning, she was already juggling 5 group chats, fielding half a dozen telemarketing calls, and responding to an urgent family dispute. Each ping on her smartphone felt like a magnet, pulling her away from her intention to recharge. In an in-depth feature style worthy of a prestigious American magazine, we examine how the distraction test preys upon our natural inclinations. Because Cancer is attuned to emotional frequencies, every alert feels like a personal request for empathy. The result? You become the unintentional first responder to every digital or interpersonal hiccup. Meanwhile, the universe's red circle pulses in the background, yet you fail to notice. This is the psychological mechanism at play. Under the guise of connection, social media and smartphones become covert allies of the distraction test, triggering FOMO, fear of missing out, to keep you perpetually off balance. You think you're staying informed, but in truth, you're missing the signal that matters most. A renowned energy practitioner, let's call him Dr. Reyes, once said, "If you do not mute the noise, you will never hear the whisper of your higher self." Imagine a short investigative piece that pauses to let the silence settle, an intentional break in the narrative so the reader becomes aware of their own breath. That's precisely the tactic needed here, a sudden pause to feel what it's like when notifications are silenced. Consider the story of Michael, an entrepreneur who, on June 3rd last year, ignored his phone's pandemonium for just 2 hours. In that lapse, he glimpsed an idea so powerful it reshaped his business and personal trajectory. Conversely, his friend, distraught over missing texts and comments, remained oblivious to subtle synchronicities around him. A meeting he could have had, a chance encounter in the park. Often, these scenarios are mirrored in high-profile moments. Elon Musk deliberately disabled every notification while unveiling a revolutionary product, ensuring nothing diluted his focus. In doing so, he exemplified how strategic silence can amplify one's connection to a larger purpose. If you fail to silence the intrusions, you risk missing your own cosmic launch window. Now, let's draw this test to a close. Every time you decline a needless alert, you affirm your commitment to the path laid out by the universe. Refuse the distraction, and you say yes to your higher timeline. Picture a tranquil coastline where a sturdy sea wall holds back crashing waves. Each refusal to engage is like that solid barrier, protecting your inner serenity from the relentless tides of noise. As your spiritual confidant, I invite you to envision this moment, you, standing firm against the swirling currents of chaos, reclaiming your focus. In exquisite poetic language, allow hope to breathe within you. Though the world clamors, within lies a refuge of calm where your destiny patiently waits. As someone who once prided myself on handling it all, emails, messages, social updates, until I realized I was missing the universe's soft knocks. I speak from experience. There was a morning I woke to find an email urging me to invest in a fleeting trend. Tempted, I nearly clicked buy. But something urged me to pause, to sense the stillness before acting. That pause revealed a more substantial opportunity, one that aligned with my values. In sharing my own misstep, I highlight a fundamental truth: our everyday choices form the tapestry of our fate. By refusing distraction, you become not a passive bystander but an active co-author of your spiritual biography. If you walk away remembering one thing, let it be this: the distraction test is your first gatekeeper. Stand guard over your attention. Create pockets of intentional silence. Switch off non-essential notifications. Simple acts, declining a group chat invitation, muting a particularly noisy app, are profound gestures of self-respect. When you do, you open yourself to the universe's whispers on June 3rd to 4th. Whispers that can guide you toward a life of greater alignment and purpose. In doing so, you transform the red circle from a warning sign into an emblem of empowerment. The choice rests with you: succumb to the noise and let the karmic portal close, or rise above distraction and step into the destiny awaiting beyond the noise. 3. Test 2. The Trust Trap, when sweet promises conceal hidden agendas. As the crimson circle of June 3rd to 4th looms, the universe sets its next snare: the trust trap. Imagine a sensational headline in an investigative exposé: Trust Trap, the elusive bait that lures even the cautious. This is no casual suggestion. It's a concealed trial designed to ensnare the unsuspecting. Like employment scams that prey on hope in the American job market, the trust trap dresses itself in gleaming language and legitimate promises. One moment, you believe you're stepping into a golden opportunity. The next, you realize you're caught in an elaborate ruse. If you wander blindly into this subtler test, the karmic portal edges ever closer to slamming shut until 2033. Let's profile a classic Cancer archetype. Let's call her Emily. By nature, she is deeply empathetic, craving emotional safety. She pores over every detail before forging a bond, yet a genuine compliment or a seemingly heartfelt pitch can disarm even her caution. In a one-on-one interview style, Emily might tell you, "I always want to believe the best in people. When someone acknowledges my worth, my guard softens." Like Goldilocks in search of the just right, a Cancer seeks that perfect fit, whether in relationships, career offers, or life-changing ventures. Yet precisely because they yearn for harmony, the sweetest assurances can mask an insidious motive. Against the backdrop of cosmic urgency, the trust trap leverages the Cancerian heart's yearning for security, tempting it with a counterfeit sense of belonging. Here's how the illusion forms. An offer arrives, gilded in glowing testimonials and promises of swift success. Imagine a startup guaranteeing six-figure returns in mere months, or a charismatic stranger professing unconditional affection after a brief online chat. Underneath the polished exterior lies a labyrinth of deception. In an expose-esque, journalist's voice, we dig deeper. Behind the congratulatory emails from team leaders are shell accounts crafted to convince you that thousands have already joined. Behind the flattering texts from a new acquaintance is a scripted narrative engineered to win your trust. This functions much like a magician's trick. As you marvel at the facade, you neglect to see the wires and mirrors behind it. In real-life headlines, we've seen American entrepreneurs who vanished overnight, leaving hopeful investors in the lurch. In your own life, you may encounter a too-good-to-be-true mentorship that demands your savings up front, or a relationship that seems tailored to your every need but subtly drains your emotional reserves. By the time the sleight of hand is revealed, you've already walked through the portal, and retracing your steps can become nearly impossible before the door closes until 2033. When trust is extended without scrutiny, old patterns re-emerge. Consider John, a Cancer who once ignored a nagging gut feeling about a miracle health cure promising immediate vitality. He invested thousands, only to discover the whole scheme was a sham. His bank account depleted, his faith shaken. In a Washington Post-style analysis, we see a pattern. Victims of the trust trap often repeat similar mistakes, mistaking the veneer of sincerity for genuine intent. The fallout isn't just financial, it's emotional and spiritual. When the deception unravels, the sense of betrayal wounds the soul, leaving you hesitant to trust again, even when true opportunities arise. The universe's intention isn't to punish Cancer, but to awaken a discerning eye. By falling for a trust trap, you're forced to examine how easily you can be pulled off course by the siren song of flattering words, and you realize, this challenge is not designed to break you but to fortify you. Now, let's arm you with tools to navigate this hidden labyrinth. Picture yourself sitting across from a seasoned spiritual coach, who whispers, always ask, why does this feel too perfect? Listen for the physical signs. Does your chest tighten when you read that glowing testimonial? Is a nagging sensation in your gut making your heart race? In American parlance, we call this a gut check, an instinctual early warning system ingrained since infancy. Pause. Breathe. Query that inner voice. Is this alignment genuine, or an illusion wrapped in honeyed words? If an offer claims to solve all problems overnight, or if a new acquaintance dotes on you without a single flaw in sight, your intuition is likely waving red flags. Write down these impressions. Consult a trusted friend or spiritual confidant. Cross-examine the facts. Are there verifiable references? Does the perfect job description actually align with your existing skills, or is it a bait to lure you toward unknown pitfalls? Every moment you hesitate to leap, you shift the balance in your favor. By exercising caution, you preserve your energy and protect the karmic portal from slamming shut prematurely. I'll admit, I once found myself smitten by a guru who promised me skyrocketing success through a single, one-time-only masterclass. His Instagram feed glowed with staged photos of him standing before a private jet and luxury homes. For weeks, I polished my credit card details, determined to sign up, until a late-night flash of doubt stopped me. I recalled a mentor's warning, genuine guidance rarely requires rushing into a purchase. That split-second pause saved me thousands and ignited a deeper curiosity. How many more times might I nearly walk into the same trap? Ever since, I viewed every too-slick pitch with a detective's lens. I now see trust traps as invisible filters. When trust is tested, you refine your inner clarity, discerning between hollow promises and heartfelt guidance. As June 3rd to 4th approaches, remember that the trust trap is the second gatekeeper standing between you and that higher timeline. When sweet words slip into your DMs or a perfect opportunity lands at your feet, lean into your body's wisdom. Celebrate your sensitivity, but sharpen your discernment. By doing so, you turn each potential betrayal into an invitation to grow, to become wiser, and ultimately, to step through that karmic portal with conviction. Refuse false assurances, and you resist being dragged backward into cycles of regret. Instead, you affirm your right to be guided by truth and intuition. Let your spirit stand firm, like a lighthouse casting steady beams across stormy seas. The universe is watching. For those who navigate the trust trap with vigilance, the pathway to a greater destiny remains wide open, at least until 2033. Pause, question, and trust yourself above all else. This is your moment to transform deception into discernment and to embrace the next chapter with unwavering clarity. 4. Energy Drain Test. When invisible vampires siphon your spiritual vitality. Imagine flipping open your morning paper, New York Times style, and seeing a headline that reads, Energy Drain Test, when invisible vampires siphon your spiritual vitality. That's exactly what's happening between June 3rd and 4th, the only window the universe has marked with a burning red circle. If you fail this third challenge, the karmic portal slams shut until 2033. This test goes beyond mental distractions or seductive promises. It targets the very life force that fuels your purpose. As both a spiritual guide and a trusted companion, I urge you to lean in, pause, and feel the pull in your chest. You'll need every ounce of awareness to sense the subtle drains that threaten to leave you empty. Picture 3 archetypal energy vampires lurking in your life. The friend who never seems content, perpetually unloading complaints about their woes. Family members who twist every conversation until you feel obligated, and the ex-lover whose memory haunts you like a ghost, resurfacing to stir old wounds. Take Linda, a Cancer born on July 5th, who spends hours consoling her best friend's marital drama late into the night, refusing to hang up even when her spirit is screaming for rest. Or consider Robert, a retired pastor whose adult daughter uses his compassion to manipulate financial favors, draining his hard-earned savings. Finally, there's Marisol, haunted by memories of a relationship that ended 5 years ago. She replayed what-ifs until her mornings became a fog of regret. In each scenario, unseen hands are siphoning your energy, leaving you breathless and hollowed out like a hallowed tree trunk. Studies from the American Psychological Association reveal that prolonged exposure to negative influences drains your resilience, erodes self-confidence, and corrodes your sense of purpose. Imagine waking each day with a nagging fatigue that feels deeper than sleep deprivation. Your chest constricts, your mind clouds, and every small task demands Herculean effort. In effect, you experience a form of burnout akin to what happens in toxic workplaces. The Atlantic once reported on employees forced to work in emotionally hostile environments, comparing their decline to a slow poison. Now transpose that scenario onto your personal relationships. The person who consistently triggers anxiety, the group chat that never stops complaining, the social obligation you can't decline. With each engagement, your spiritual battery loses another bar, moving you perilously close to the cliff where creative spark, emotional balance, and faith in tomorrow slip through your fingers. It's time for radical self-care. Imagine a trusted life coach whispering in your ear, "Your no is a sacred shield, not a selfish act." Begin by scripting your refusal to energy vampires. When the chronic complainer calls, you might say, "I'm sorry you're going through a rough patch, but I need quiet time right now. Let's reconnect tomorrow." If manipulation creeps in from a family member, counter with, "I respect you, but I can't discuss this again until I recharge. Let's talk next week." Practice these lines out loud until they feel natural. Decline that group chat invitation. Mute the notifications. Each refusal is a brick in the wall you build to protect your reservoir of spiritual fuel. In the United States, the concept of radical self-care has gained traction. View it not as selfishness but as an act of deep respect for your own life. Your energy is sacred, guard it fiercely. When someone drains your energy, your body doesn't lie. Recall the last time you left a draining conversation. Your ribs felt like iron bands, tightening with each breath. Your head throbbed as if someone lit a cigarette under your skull, and a haze of confusion dulled your thoughts. Maybe you caught yourself clutching your chest, heart fluttering in raw anxiety, almost like a panic attack. These are not mere metaphors, they are real, visceral signals. You can almost smell the tang of fear in the air, taste the metallic dryness of apprehension at the back of your throat. This is your body's emergency broadcast system, screaming, "Warning, your spirit is under siege. Refuel or face collapse." Let's be clear, if you do not protect your spiritual vitality, you will not be prepared to receive the blessings waiting on the other side of June 4th. In a concise op-ed style reminiscent of a Washington Post editorial, consider these facts. Research published in the Journal of Positive Psychology shows that individuals with higher emotional self-regulation experience better health outcomes, stronger relationships, and a deeper sense of life satisfaction. Conversely, a 2023 Harvard study found that emotional exhaustion correlates directly with reduced creativity and stunted personal growth. In the self-help community, they call this high-vibe living. The practice of maintaining a positive, resilient frequency to magnetize opportunity. If you let unseen predators feast on your energy, you sever the connection between you and the universe's flow of abundance. Your prayers, meditations, and intentions may circle like moths around a flame, but without energy, they lack the power to crystallize. Guarding your vibrancy is not optional, it is the very foundation of your future miracles. Now envision two possible outcomes. On a bright June morning, the sun streams through your window, birdsong infuses the air with promise, and you wake feeling clear and eager, your heart expands with gratitude. You step into the world energized, and doors open effortlessly, meaningful conversations, creative breakthroughs, even random acts of synchronicity that nudge you closer to purpose. In stark contrast, picture waking to a gray, oppressive dawn, your limbs heavy as lead. Every sound feels like fingernails scratching a chalkboard. The day drags, opportunities slip through inert fingers, and the world seems to proceed at someone else's pace. That is the chasm between passing the energy drain test and failing it. One scenario floods you with possibility, the other leaves you stranded in stagnation. I recall a season when my own energy was victim to subtle drains. A well-meaning relative monopolized every family gathering with endless complaints, while a colleague at church seemed to require constant moral rescue missions. Targeted by two vampires at once, I felt as though I was running on fumes. My morning prayers turned to mutters, and my favorite Bible verses felt hollow. Only when I built firm boundaries, unplugging my phone during certain hours and declining invitations without guilt, did sunlight break through the storm clouds of my spirit. That decisive act reaffirmed a truth. The universe reveals your next great leap only when your inner tank is full. Otherwise, you remain parked in the lot, watching life go by. As June 3rd to 4th approaches, remember, this isn't a wishy-washy suggestion to be kind to yourself. It's a non-negotiable edict from your soul's captain. Energy vampires lurk in everyday moments, streaming unseen but capable of draining you to the bone. By recognizing the vampires, understanding the physical toll, and establishing rock-solid boundaries, you ensure that come June, your spirit stands tall. Resist the unseen predators, and you'll emerge ready for miracles. Fail, and you risk languishing in a karmic loop until 2033. Let the red circle burn as a reminder. Guard your energy today, so your tomorrow can shine bright. 5. The Karmic Crossroads, consequences of failure or triumph. As June 3rd to 4th slips past, the universe will demand an answer. Will you rise to meet the 3 tests, distraction, trust, and energy drain, or will you choose the path of least resistance? For those born under Cancer or anyone attuned to spiritual currents, these 48 hours represent a once-in-a-decade gateway. Fail, and you remain trapped in the same unhealthy cycles. Until 2033, the karmic portal remains sealed. Succeed, and you vault into a higher frequency where abundance, clarity, and synchronicity await. Let's explore what lies at each possible outcome, the warnings, and the blessings that follow. Take a deep breath, and let's begin. Imagine receiving a flashing red alert on your phone, an urgent headline that reads, "Cancer trapped in emotional loop." If you falter on any of the 3 tests, you remain entangled in old patterns. Toxic relationships that sap your heart, financial stagnation that stifles your dreams, and spiritual disorientation that leaves you wandering without compass. It's like being stuck on a merry-go-round that keeps circling faster and faster, until you feel dizzy but powerless to step off. In gangland terms, it's akin to a kingpin cycling through the same prison sentences. No matter how many times he swears change, he ends up back behind bars. That's the harsh truth. Failure means replaying this season of struggle, bound by the same emotional debts and unhealed wounds. Now picture a global broadcast, historic conference postponed for a decade. That's the magnitude of what happens if you don't conquer these tests by June 4th. The karmic portal, once open, clamps shut with the finality of a vault door, locked until the year 2033. It's as though the Olympic Games that were supposed to unite nations in 2020 were delayed until 2030. One misstep shifts history off course for 10 years. During this decade of closure, every significant opportunity, career breakthroughs, healing relationships, the spark of spiritual awakening, remains inaccessible. You might cheer yourself up with rationalizations. I'll try again next year. But the cosmos won't open that door again for 10 full years. Every time you yearn for a fresh start, you'll find the portal painted over in cosmic red, access denied, try again 2033. It's a stark, world-class news story playing out in your spirit. Pause. Before you feel the weight of that sealed portal press against your chest, remember, this is not divine punishment. Rather, it's the cost of opting for temporary comfort over enduring transformation. In the world of motivational op-eds, this is akin to a game show contestant who sees 2 buttons, one for a small guaranteed prize, another for a shot at the jackpot. If you choose to press convenience, to stay distracted, to trust blindly, to let energy vampires feast, you forfeit the chance at true, lasting fulfillment. No malevolent spirit forces you, you simply decide to cling to what feels immediately easy. As a wise guide might whisper, your awareness is your real power. By recognizing that default survival mode is merely a choice, you reclaim agency. Though your karmic portal closes, you are not damned, merely putting your highest future on hold. Flip the script. Envision a Cancer who, at the 11th hour, holds firm. They silence their notifications, distraction test, question suspiciously sweet offers, trust trap, and cut ties with emotional leeches, energy drain test. As the clock strikes midnight on June 4th, a radiant light floods their inner world, a quantum leap so powerful it echoes the second wind runner's experience in an Ironman triathlon. This is not wishful thinking. History brims with accounts of CEOs who weathered near-total collapse, bankruptcy, broken alliances, only to rebound spectacularly, redefining industries. One imagined scenario, a midlife Cancer, once drowning in debt and anxiety, emerges from these trials cleared of clutter. Their mind sharpens, their heart softens with genuine gratitude, and they step into a pattern of serendipity that propels them forward. The universe, impressed by their resolve, responds in kind. Doors open where there were walls, resources multiply, and time itself seems to accelerate to bring opportunities straight to their doorstep. Now allow yourself to picture that first June morning in 2025, sunlight filtering through newly awakened eyes, heart brimming with possibility. As you sip your coffee, your phone pings, an unexpected transfer of funds, enough to clear a looming debt. This isn't magic, it's the direct result of aligning with your higher frequency. Remember the writer who, after carving out mental space by passing the energy drain test, discovered a long-lost manuscript in a dusty folder, signed by a renowned author, now bequeathed to them at no cost? Or consider the entrepreneur who, once untouched by the trust trap, now forms a partnership with an investor they met through a chance meeting at a charitable event. An encounter that feels less coincidence and more divine choreography. Across American self-help circles, this phenomenon is celebrated as synchronicity. Meaningful coincidences woven together by universal intelligence. When your vibration matches what you truly deserve, the universe responds with a cascade of blessings. Invitations to speak at events, reconnected family ties that mend old wounds, and even unexpected travel opportunities that expand your horizon. In short, you become a magnet for miracles. Allow me to share a personal note. I once told myself I would sleep on a major life decision, only to wake the next morning feeling a physical heaviness in my chest. It was my body, in its infinite wisdom, signaling that something needed immediate action. I declined yet another offer that would have fed my ego but starved my spirit. Within 48 hours, a completely different opportunity arrived. A friend of a friend introduced me to a small spiritual community seeking writers to share practical faith insights. That invitation, modest at first glance, became the catalyst for a decade's worth of meaningful engagement. Far richer than the original allure. That moment taught me that when you stand firm against temptation, the universe meets you halfway with something genuine. As the karmic portal hovers between June 3rd to 4th, decide now. Will you brave the tests, trust your inner compass, and guard your energy fiercely? In doing so, you not only preserve access to a decade of potential, you reclaim the story of your life. If you falter, you'll replay old episodes until 2033. If you triumph, you'll ride a wave of miracles that rewrite what's possible. The choice is yours. May you choose wisely, and may the universe honor your courage with blessings beyond measure. Cancer, listen closely. By choosing alignment over distraction, trusting your intuition over illusion, and protecting your peace over people-pleasing, you are prepared for the soul shift ahead. These three choices, 3, 2, 1, are your guiding principles during the critical 48 hours of June 3rd to 4th. When you prioritize inner alignment, honor your gut instincts instead of chasing empty promises, and safeguard your serenity instead of appeasing others, you unlock your higher timeline. Now, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications. June is not just another month, it's a cosmic upgrade, a once-in-a-decade opportunity. If you hesitate, you risk missing the karmic portal that only opens for 48 hours, and you won't see it again until 2033. This is not hype, it's a spiritual urgency. Here's a challenge. In the comments, type the word challenge once. Then, repeat the affirmation, I pass my karmic test. I choose alignment. 11 times. This repetition isn't arbitrary. Repeating it 11 times forms new neural pathways, embedding your commitment deep into your subconscious. As you type and speak each phrase, you send a clear signal to the universe that you are fully aligned. And remember, if you know anyone else who is a Cancer or has Cancer rising, share this video. You could be the guiding light that helps someone avoid the same karmic trap. Social media isn't merely for entertainment, it's a tool for profound transformation. Next, continue the journey by watching 5 millionaire numbers for June. That video will build on this momentum, shifting from breaking old cycles to unlocking financial blessings. Never forget, 48 hours and 10 years of delay aren't just numbers. They create a powerful contrast. One side demands swift action, the other warns of a decade-long setback. If you remain idle or let distractions, temptations or energy drains pull you away, you will pay the price, 10 years of stagnation. But if you stay vigilant, protect your inner space, and embrace these steps, June will bring a quantum leap. I believe in you. Let this conclusion be more than an ending. It's the beginning of your journey of self-discovery.